Welcome to your Daily 5 for Wednesday, November 8th, 2023. If you have been on the internet at all in the last week or so, you have probably seen the numerous stories. Really, there's been different variations, but two main flavors of stories about the Disney Marvel future plans around the Marvel Universe. And the ones that I saw at first that popped up in a number of different places were that Marvel and Disney are reassessing their approach to making movies and television, that they are maybe not going to be doing as interconnected a universe as they were before. And this has gotten some really kind of hysterically over dramatic headlines, such as I think The Verge had, "In Marvel We Do Not Trust," talking about this. And then a second story that's been circulating that I saw within the last few days is one about different TV series. I don't know if this is extending to the movies. I think this is TV series only, but I could be wrong. But basically, there's going to be an advisory on different series that is going to let you know if you need to have watched any previous films or television to really enjoy it. So I assume with that, because obviously I'm sure they would say they want you to watch everything and that you will pick certain things up. But I think it's more of a, okay, will you be able to follow this series at all if you haven't seen this previous iteration? I think that's what the advisory is really geared to do from what I've read. Now, a lot of people, as I mentioned with that Verge headline, have taken this to be, Marvel's in trouble. Disney's giving up their confidence in Marvel. Is the Marvel Cinematic Universe doomed? And things like that. And I laugh at that because, honestly, these news stories are probably the most positive things I've heard about Marvel in a while. Now, if you've listened to the show for any length of time, you have no doubt heard me say more than once that I am utterly checked out of the Marvel Universe by and large. That's not to say I don't watch anything, but my interest level is basically starting from zero on most things because I've just become tired of exactly what apparently Disney and Marvel are realizing that people are tired of. This idea that you have to watch every single thing that comes out within the Marvel Universe to be able to understand every single other thing. And I guess they're finally figuring out that people don't have infinite budgets and time, and they're not going to watch everything, and maybe they just want to be able to sit down and enjoy something on its own without having to suddenly watch three other things either before or after. And it's also funny to me that Marvel has failed to learn a lesson for something that they did really twice very effectively. Now, they ended up in different results, but honestly, Marvel has done what they need to do now twice before, and it worked really well twice before, which is start off with individual characters, understand that they live in a world where they know of each other, but let them have movies or series that are based around themselves and not some larger threat that you have to establish immediately. If you go back and look at the original Marvel films, Captain America, Thor, Iron Man, certainly there was the idea that they were existing in a larger universe, but their stories were self-contained. And then if you go to the Netflix series, that was the same thing. Now, you can debate how good Iron Fist was, but certainly Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Luke Cage, I would say once you get to the end of that series, boy, I wasn't really happy with how that ended, but at least you can watch each of these series and you understand who the characters are. And then they try to do the Defenders, and unfortunately that wasn't all that great, but that really wasn't because of the characters. The parts where the characters were together were really good. And then somehow Marvel decided that formula that had largely worked twice in two different types of formats, movies and then television or streaming, whatever you want to call it, I guess they thought, we don't need to do that anymore. We can just fast forward right past that and just have these giant interconnected universes where everything is happening all at once. And almost predictably, that's not really working out anymore. And it's because as much as people love the big, the Avengers films and Multiverse of Madness and all that stuff is great. But you also do want series that are a little bit more, or movies, that focus around a character, that are smaller scale, that you can watch and they're by themselves. And could they exist in a larger universe? Of course they can, but they don't have to. And I think that's the thing, the requirement, that it felt like everything that Marvel was doing was what was starting to grate on people. And it was a saturation overload. Again, pretty predictably. This is how things usually happen. As many people have pointed out, if you just look at Marvel Comics themselves, this exact same story is played out more than once. DC as well. So again, I don't look at these news stories as a negative. I look at them as a positive. I am really hoping that this is a serious reassessment and a recalibration of the way that Marvel does its output, because in my opinion anyway, that can only lead to better content for everybody. Later.